Liberty family, welcome to my house. I am so excited to get to talk with y'all just a little bit. The story behind this is that as a worship team, we've been talking about options of different ways we can connect with y'all. We've actually been talking about this for over a year and making plans to perhaps bring you into our homes and just different ways to connect. And so when all of the virus stuff hit, we quickly bought equipment and set it up in our home so that in the event that we're not able to meet at the church to videotape things for you, we can do them out of our homes. So this way, PJ and I have a small setup in our home that worst case scenario, he would be able to do his sermon from our house. So anyways, we're practicing with that this week to make sure that everything's working correctly, so y'all are my guinea pigs. I told the team if they had to practice that I would practice too, so y'all are my guinea pigs. And we're doing great. Pray that y'all are too. PJ and I, or John as he is in the home, is upstairs studying, and I'm in my office. This is my home office, and behind me is our family room, and so excited to have you here. And if I'm like the rest of you, I have good times and I have times where I'm mentally struggling with everything that we're being bombarded with in the news. And one of the scripture passages that has been really helping me a lot, let me get my glasses, it's out of Colossians. It's one of my memory verses. It's Colossians 3. I'm going to read verse 1 and 2. It says, "Since then you have been raised with Christ, set your hearts on things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things." And where I've really been focusing is setting my mind on things above. And I'm a short person, so I think that the word set is a very active word. And so I picture myself, I'm constantly having to reach really hard to get up to high things since I'm so short. And so I picture myself, when I'm setting my mind, I picture myself reaching to set my mind above. And one of the ways that I do that, I've done this for years, is I make lists. Lists of things that I'm thankful for, lists of things that I see God doing or ways that He's moving. And so during our time together, I want to share with you my list. I'm calling it my behind the scenes list. Behind the scenes of Liberty Church Marietta, things that God did to prepare us for the season that we find ourselves in now. So I have four kind of categories that I want to talk about of what I consider pretty profound things that God did to prepare us. The first one is the fact that we had at the beginning of the year just such a focus on evangelism and all of those baptisms that we had. It's just such a beautiful reminder of what's important to me when I remember that baptism weekend when all those people got baptized and just dedicated their hearts to God in a whole new and a fresh way. Many salvations. We're still hearing testimonies about that. So I just think that that's an important thing that we did as a church body. And I look at that. I look at that as God working behind the scenes for us to be victorious and to be strong in the current season that we're in. The second thing is the general structure of our church. John, I can't tell you the number of pastors' conferences we have gone to. We're set up as a small group church, and we kept our congregations intentionally small so that sense of community would be really dominant. And John gets teased about it all the times by pastors who don't know us. I remember one time we went to, when he was writing the Armor of God book, we went to a conference and he met with a well-known author at the time, and the author's only words of advice was, "Man, you got to build a bigger building. This structure of yours, that's crazy. You got to build a bigger building and go to one service. Can't believe you do that." And he meant it as praise. It was nothing wrong with it. But I look back now and I'm just so thankful for our structure. I'm so thankful for the connectivity of our people. I take this as God working behind the scenes for this season that we're in right now. Want to thank you so much for the way you've responded to the online services, your participation, the pictures you've sent in. We're continuing to look for ways that you can connect. I know that a lot of the small groups are finding ways to meet over the internet, and I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to stay connected with your small group. If you were visiting at the time that all of this hit, please reach out to your welcome pastor if you want to get in a small group. They will help you get connected. But that's just a behind-the-scene things that God has been working in our midst to make this season more victorious in our lives. On a personal note, number 3, I want to thank you so much. I think that John's sabbatical and the timing of his sabbatical was a way that God was working behind the scenes to help us be victorious in this season. I want to thank you for the way you responded. You were so supportive, so loving. John's doing great. The Lord accomplished what he needed to accomplish in his sabbatical season so that he can come back strong now when we really need him. He's upstairs in his office preparing his sermon for this week. He's had it ready for a while. He's actually just polishing it, but it's on Isaiah 53 verse 1. It's about the Lord's strength. Boy, we need that sermon this week. And just a side point, John had originally planned to teach a topical series on habits, and when he first started his sabbatical, he started preparing to teach that, and he very clearly heard the Lord say, don't teach on habits. Prepare to teach on Isaiah 53, which is one of his favorite memory chapters, and it's also a chapter that is totally about Jesus. And right now, what we need to hear about as a body of believers is about Jesus. So another way that God worked behind the scenes. For the last one is about our worship ministry. And for those of you who don't know, I am very involved in our worship ministry. I meet with the team every week. It is just such a joy in my life. I've always loved worship, and the people that I'm working with now are just treasures. They're treasures in my heart. I just can't say enough good things about them. And the Lord worked mightily behind the scenes in our worship ministry to be able to accomplish what we're doing now. The biggest way that he worked is we've been struggling with our sound system for about 5 years as a church. Brian Anderson literally single-handedly fixed our speakers on a monthly basis to get them to be able to perform on any kind of level. Our soundboard was falling apart. It was held together in some ways by duct tape. I'm even embarrassed to tell you this. So about a year ago, we bit the bullet, and over the course of a year, we replaced pretty much everything on our sound system. We got new speakers, we got new cameras, we got new lights, we got a new board. It was a long, tedious process. And if I can just say one thing, the spiritual warfare behind this process was mind-boggling for us as a team. Our worship team and our production team, we couldn't quite figure out why the spiritual warfare was so intense over this new sound system installation, but we kept plugging through. The song that the Lord gave me during that season was, God is fighting for you. God is fighting for you. Keep pressing forward. God is fighting for you. Well, now, looking behind the scenes, looking back, we see very clearly why the Lord wanted us to have that done and why there was spiritual warfare involved in it, because there's no way we would be able to produce the videos that you're watching online now that are your church. And so just want to celebrate what the Lord did for us as a body. And I just want to say, I know I'm speaking for all the worship ministry, that we miss you guys. The Lord has shown up when we've recorded the worship sessions for you. He has been so evident, but boy, do we miss you out in the audience. And we will definitely have a huge celebration when this is over, when this trial is over. We will definitely get together and worship with you and have a huge celebration. So just wanted to pop on and speak with you and share a little bit about what the Lord's been doing behind the scenes of Liberty Church to prepare us for where we are now. I'm confident that we're going to get through this. PJ and I, we love you so much, and we're praying for you all. And hey, I bet you have behind the scenes things that the Lord has done in your life to prepare you for the season that you are in now. And I would love to hear them. I would love to hear what the Lord has done to prepare you, or what he is doing in your hearts, because I know that he is doing mighty things in all of our hearts and growing us stronger. As John said, we are in the midst of a spiritual surge, personally and corporately as a church body, and I don't want to miss one single thing. So please let me know how you're doing. We love you guys. We're praying for you, and we hope to be able to see you and hug you very, very soon. Bye.